Hello from my heart, everybody, and happy 2015. This is the year of infinite possibilities, and I have a wonderful guest tonight. Her name is Patricia Walker, and she is just a wonderful woman. She's a certified trainer and trailblazer for infinite possibilities, and she writes for so many different publications. Her most recent entry was in Elephant Journal, and it was an article about Hurricane Odile and and the efforts that were being made to help everybody down there in Cabo. And she is a wonderful, gifted writer. I'm holding in my hand like a wonderful, one of the best reads I ever had. It's called Dance of the Electric Hummingbird, An Ordinary Woman's Accidental Journey to Enlightenment, the Supernatural, and Rock Star Sammy Hagar. And this is a wonderful read. I mean, she walks you through. I mean, you feel like you're walking right next to her when she's telling you her story of how she went from abuse to abundance and infinite possibilities. She is just a wonderful person, and I've had the pleasure of meeting her in person, and she really wants to help everybody reach their highest goal, to reach for the golden ring, just like Sammy Hagar was singing in that song Dreams I played in the beginning. So, well, without further ado, I'm going to bring my friend on, Patricia Walker.
Hi, Sue. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming back.
It's always my pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you. And I just can't wait to hear about your Infinite Possibilities program. And it sounds like something that I need, certainly, and as well as a lot of people listening out there. You really work deep with the subconscious to really, I believe through binaural beat and hemisync technology, and it really goes into your subconscious from what you were telling me. So I'm going to let you explain to everybody what Infinite Possibilities is, and I'll just listen too.
Well, thank you. Infinite Possibilities and the hemisync and binaural beats are really two separate things. Hemisync and binaural beats are part of what the Monroe Institute teaches, and I'm a local chapter network leader for that as well. These two modes of thought go hand in hand. So I'm eventually hoping to combine the infinite possibilities with my Monroe Institute knowledge and put together workshops combining those two, because they go right along with the things that I wrote about in my book. Infinite Possibilities is a wonderful, wonderful program. It was developed by Mike Dooley, and I have to give a big shout out to Mike Dooley. He's not only a great author, but he's a really super man. I mean, he truly embodies the things that he teaches, and I've met him several times, and I can definitely vouch for his integrity and living what he preaches. So, and it deals with basically a lot of us have limiting beliefs that influence us in our everyday lives, and often we don't even realize it. These limiting beliefs are often caused by society or our ancestors or cliches that we've adopted or throughout our lives, or the acceptance of other people's idea of what's right and what the truth is. And so we've often adopt these things as truths, and maybe they don't always serve us. And so what Infinite Possibilities does is it helps us to identify those limiting beliefs that we may have, and it gives us tools to not only to discover what they are, but also to find ways of changing those into more constructive things, because if we're not happy in our lives, it can be often because limiting beliefs are holding us back. So for instance, have you ever heard yourself say, "It must be nice," when somebody tells you something that they got or they did, and we don't even realize that when this sort of thing comes out of our mouth that by us saying that, it implies that that could never happen to us, or we could never have that for ourselves. So that's one of the things that Infinite Possibilities helps us to deal with. So one of those things, as I said, is just to listen to the words that you speak, because those can also reveal what your thoughts are. Infinite Possibilities is also, Mike Dooley has a cute little statement that he's whittled it down to thoughts become things. And it's so true that what we think about, we pull into our lives, and often those things, sometimes those things may not be, as I said, serving us. So it's a great way to get beyond those things. And what I do in my classes is I teach people hands-on practical methods through lecture, discussion, group discussion, videos, guided visualization, lots of really fun exercises for individual and group exercises. And then we have a graduation party at the very end, and you get a nice little certificate that says you completed the course, and you have all this great knowledge and these great techniques that you can take into your life and apply right now to make changes. So I try to make it not only informative but also fun, because that's really what it's all about. Life is about being happy and enjoying yourself, and life is about growing and learning. So I'm trying to combine all of these things together to give people really great experiences, and I've gotten wonderful feedback from people as well. So I don't know if I may, for instance, we talk about how our thoughts can be sometimes holding us back. If you have perhaps two people with identical skills applying for the same job, and one person believes they're perfect for the job, and the other person tells themselves, I never do well at interviews, I probably won't get the job. Well, how do you think their beliefs are going to affect how they perform at the job interview? Or how they prepare for the interview, how they're going to dress and present themselves. So this is just a little example of how our beliefs really influence us.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit earlier before the show, and I shared with you I had this dream that was deeply seated. I mean, I truly believe it's from a past life memory of a woman in Roman times handing me a lot of gold jewelry, and I told her, no, I'm sorry, I can't accept this. I didn't feel I was good enough. And
right.
When you have people that have really deeply seated subconscious things going on, the hemisync and binaural beat really helps to kind of loosen that stuff up, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then, like I said, that's a whole different program than the Infinite Possibilities, but they go hand in hand and really complement each other. What you're describing there, I think, is a really common thing for a lot of us. The wonderful author Paulo Coelho talked about that in his book, The Alchemist, where we often get close to achieving our goal, and all of a sudden our minds start throwing all of these tricks in the way, challenges in the path, and making it so much easier for us to just back down and say, oh, never mind, forget it. And like you said, I think there's a limiting belief there that you have that I don't deserve it. And our minds do that. They tell us, I don't deserve this, or why should I have this when other people don't, or any number of things, or, oh, this is really scary because now I have to change my whole life. But getting back to your talking about the binaural beats, that's really great for helping putting us in touch with our spiritual side and parts of us that some might call imagination. And I had some people in my group talk about that as well. How do I know this isn't just my imagination, because I'm having all these wonderful images or insights come to me, and how do I know I'm just not just imagining them? But if you think about it that way, imagination is really the language of the soul, and without our imagination coming first, we can't make changes in anything. For instance, like the Wright brothers had to first imagine that they could fly before they could come up with the plans to build an airplane, the first airplane. So imagination is huge, and it's really, really key to changing your life. So what the binaural beats does, and I can talk more about that in a little bit, but and explain to people what that is. But it helps to put us in a more focused state of concentration, to where we can connect to higher parts of ourselves, or even parts of us that are outside of ourselves that we are all connected to as well. So like I said, that's a little bit different approach. So, I don't know if you wanted to talk about the IP stuff first, or if you wanted to just interweave it all together, or whatever you want to do.
Oh, sure, yeah. So maybe we'll take a little break, and we'll talk about the IP stuff first, because I'm really interested in that. And
okay.
So I just I'll give us a little bit of a break. Well, I'm going to play "Dreams Are Out There Waiting" by Tobacco Julio, and then when we come back, we'll talk about infinite possibilities. So we'll be right back, folks.
Hey, I know that you've been waiting for the moment to be right, wondering if it really matters, and if it's worth the fight. But tell yourself that it's not smart. Make quick decisions.
Everybody to Transitions to Transformation radio show, and we're talking infinite possibilities with Patricia Walker, and she is a certified trainer and trailblazer for the program Infinite Possibilities. And you know, the first thing we must do is to get out of our own way and realize our dreams are out there waiting. And once again, that song was by Tobacco Julio, and it's just a wonderful song about getting out of your own way. So with that, I'm going to bring Pat back on, and we're going to talk about just that. Hi, Pat.
Hi, Sue. Wonderful song.
Thanks. Oh, I love it. I love it. It always gets me motivated to get up and and kind of get out of my own way.
You bet. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, that's like the first and hardest step. To kind of like
really
change our thoughts.
No one ever said it was easy, but it's also, and then just catching myself saying that, I realized that's a limiting belief as well. No one ever said it was easy. We can set the intention, put that out to the universe and say, this is what I want to achieve, and make it easy.
That's right. I'm glad you said that.
Well, I'm learning right along with everybody else, and that's one of the things that I really love about this program is the more I teach it, the more I learn for myself. They say that we're called to teach that which we most need to learn, so it's definitely been true in my case. I'm just learning right along with everyone else and taking those baby steps and doing what I can.
Yep, that's all we can do. Just take it day by day, and remember that thoughts become things. And what I like to call the cosmic boomerang. What you think, say, and do comes right back to you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Our lives are proof of that because every single one of us is already living our dreams. It's just that some of us aren't too happy with what we've been dreaming, maybe. So, thoughts become things is true for all of the time. It's not just our positive thoughts that come true, strive to come true, but our negative ones as well. So we have to learn how to identify those and catch ourselves when we do it.
Oh yeah. Like we just did before.
Exactly. So, yeah, exactly.
So I just wanted to ask about infinite possibilities. So you basically go and meet and you talk, that you basically get trained on how to rethink and how to actually change your perspective on things.
Right, exactly. That's one of the steps involved is realizing when you are not happy with the place that your life is at. Like I just said, not only are our positive thoughts striving to become reality, but our negative ones as well. And like the example about the two people applying for the job, or another example might be someone saying, I don't know why I'm not getting my perfect job. I'm visualizing it every day, and I'm working really hard to get this job, but then maybe they come home from work and say, my boss just doesn't appreciate what I do, or no one appreciates me. So it's the same kind of thing that we have to catch ourselves doing that. And these are wonderful tools because they're not only dealing with thoughts, but also our emotions and our beliefs, because our emotions are really stem from our deep-seated beliefs that we have about ourselves. And, it's not always necessary to uncover what belief we have that's causing this, but sometimes just to be aware that if things aren't going the way that we're wanting them to, that there's probably a limiting belief there or a negative belief somewhere back in our minds that's holding us back. So, like I said, what we do is we teach people how to change their emotions and their beliefs and their thoughts, and to give them new ways of looking at life. Changing your perspective is a huge thing. It's really, really important to do that. And I recently had a time when I had to deal with that. I was thinking that, well, I'm going to tell you about another one actually, of how that happened for me, how I changed my thoughts about things, and how things just completely changed. I had written a post on the Infinite Possibilities website on the Facebook page, and I was praising Mike Dooley for all this great work that he does, and I even tagged him in the post, and days went by and he didn't comment on them and on my post, and I thought, wow, why isn't he commenting? Because I saw that he was commenting on other posts that other people had put on there, and I started to feel kind of hurt about it. And then I decided, you know what, he's probably just busy, and why am I getting so emotional about this? I'm sure there's a reason for it, and I'm just not going to let this bother me. So I just sort of backed off of the immediate situation and looked at it in a different perspective. And do you know that the next day he actually commented on my post?
Oh, wow.
So, and you were telling me that you had something similar happened to you with the furniture.
Oh yeah, but I about a month or two ago, my dad was telling me that his neighbor across the street had was getting rid of his furniture, which was like almost looked like brand new. It was beautiful, and he said he would like to give it to me, and and at first I was like, well, after a month and a half, I was like, well, I don't think it's going to happen, and this and that. But then I started changing my thoughts. And I started listening to my heart, really, and saying, okay, well, I'm just going to attract it to myself and think more positively. And doing a binaural beat and hemi-sync meditation really helped me. And, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, my dad is like, well, he's ready to get rid of the furniture. You can have it. And I said, really? And not only did I get that furniture from my dad's neighbor, but I also got an end table from my dad and a beautiful, I guess like a plant stand. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. I mean, I got what I asked for and more. And and it's amazing what positive thinking and just letting go and not trying to control the outcome.
Yes, and that's really a huge thing is focusing on the feeling that you want to achieve with your goal and doing everything that you can. That's what's really great about this program too, is teaches you to take action. It's great to visualize things, but you also have to do something to help things along. You can't just sit back and wait for everything to drop in your lap. You really have to do something. So, yeah, it's the same kind of thing there, that you actually take the action and do what you can and not worry about how things are going to happen for you. But because if you're so focused on saying, maybe thinking, oh, I really want this certain person to love me or whatever, maybe there's somebody better out there for you, and you're focusing all your energy on this one particular avenue, and by doing so, you can be eradicating a lot of other avenues that are out there that might be even way better for you. So it's more important to rephrase it to thinking, I want to feel appreciated, I want to feel loved, or whatever the emotions are that you associate with this person. This is just an example, but it goes for anything. Is focus on the goal and be open, and don't worry so much about how things are going to happen for you.
Yeah, and that was like a major obstacle in my life, because I'm kind of a control freak, and it's like and I also come from New York too, and we're always like constantly driven to to get everything done, and like I want everything done like yesterday, and I had to let go of that, which was not easy for me, but I'm learning to just allow rather than to block myself. So that was a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also have so many resources available to us, resources that are beyond the physical world. God, our higher selves, angels, spirit guides, or whatever you want to call them. We have so many more resources out there, and that's one thing that I really like about Infinite Possibilities, is that the program can be adapted to people in the corporate world where we're using perhaps less quote-unquote spiritual language, or it can be geared toward very spiritual people, but the principles are the same, and because they work. So yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's nice to finally turn things around without having to work so hard.
Exactly.
Just being that allowing state and reprogramming the subconscious mind too. And that's, I'm sure Infinite Possibilities is all that.
Yeah.
So as far as intertwining Infinite Possibilities and binaural beat hemisync technology, which reaches the brain, that kind of leads you on a new pathway, to what I call infinite possibilities too, because you're kind of reprogramming, you're digging deep and reprogramming everything, all the negatives that were taught, or experienced. So I think it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, and they both demonstrate to us with that beyond a doubt that nothing is impossible, and that the power of our minds, which exceeds our wildest imaginations, can and does influence the world around us, our perceptions of the physical world. So the Monroe Institute and Hemisync and binaural beats actually uses a more scientific approach, I guess you would say. Put that word in quotes. I'm not sure if that's quite the right word, but compared to Infinite Possibilities, the binaural beats can induce altered states of consciousness, and as we talked about before, they're really useful for concentration and self-improvement types of things, pain management, relaxation, meditation, and sometimes out-of-body states. because the binaural beats actually alter your brain waves. And what binaural beats are, for people who don't know, the best way to listen to any of the HemiSync recordings is by using stereo headphones. And what they would do, for instance, is perhaps put a beat of, say, 100 hertz in one ear and 104 hertz in the other ear, and the brain will then compensate for those 4 beats difference, and it thinks it's a third beat, but it's not actually there at all. It's just the combination of these two when you listen to it this way. And by doing so, when the brain is following this third imagined beat, it balances out the left and right hemispheres of the brain, makes them more cohesively in contact with each other. And this is what HemiSync is short for hemispheric synchronization. So this is what the binaural beats does. So when your brain is more balanced in this manner, you hear all the time about people saying that we only use X% of our brains or whatever. Well, this helps you to use more of your brain and to be more focused on things. It's just truly an incredible program, an incredible breakthrough here that they have. And, all of these things, both Infinite Possibilities and the Monroe Institute, they all deal with connecting to a higher power and with trusting our instincts and our hunches, those kinds of things. So that's why they're just so great. Both of them are really wonderful. So, whether you want to call it, as we talked about before, something beyond ourselves, because really we're all connected. And I wrote about that in my book, too, is how I saw when I had my out-of-body experience, how I was connected to all the other things on the earth, and how animals, plants, water, people, other races, and everybody. And I also saw how I was connected to other worlds and other beings in other dimensions that there were no words to describe, but I saw how it was all connected and how God and I were connected. And the more I do this, the more I see how important this is, that we have so many more resources than we're aware of. And the binaural beats really helps put us in touch with that, as does the Infinite Possibilities, but from a slightly different angle.
Wow. That's definitely amazing. Life-changing stuff. And
yeah.
What's great, and to start. Then now, we're in the new year, and if anybody out there is interested in Pat's program, which I know there'll be a lot, there's a few ways you can get in contact with Pat. Now there's a meetup group, a meetup.com group. It's called TMI of Northern Colorado, and the TMI stands for the Monroe Institute. Not too much information. So you can look up TMI of Northern Colorado meetup.com, and that's where everybody would meet for Infinite Possibilities, pretty much. That we'll get in touch to meet for Infinite Possibilities. And also you can contact Pat at info@Baja, and that's BAJA, rockpat.net. And Pat has a beautiful website. It's www.bajarockpat.net. and BAJA rockpat.net. So definitely get in touch with Pat, and we'll take another musical break. And since we're talking about Pure Imagination, why don't we play Pure Imagination? It's my favorite song from Willy Wonka. I get a little pop cheesy, but I got so didn't you feel like that was a really positive song, in that movie? It's just, there's a lyrics in there that says, if you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. And it's words is basically what Infinite Possibilities is all about. It's about changing So I think I'm going to play it. It's a little pop cheesy, but I like it, and I think it kind of goes along with the theme. So, we'll be back in 4 minutes, 20 seconds, and, this will spur some memories and kind of get you inspired. So we'll be back in a few minutes, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the chocolate room. Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world. There's nothing to it. No life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there you'll be free if you truly wish to be. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. Life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Welcome back to Transitions to Transformation Radio Show, and we're back with the lovely and wonderful Patricia Walker. Welcome back, Pat.
Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome. So I felt really inspired by that song, and it has, reminds me so much of Infinite Possibilities because it really is pure imagination. It's how you want to view things,
Right.
and this program is going to teach people how to make that shift from negative to positive.
Right.
So it's a wonderful thing, and so I wanted to talk a bit about your book too, Dance of the Electric Hummingbird. An Ordinary Woman's Accidental Journey to Enlightenment, The Supernatural, and Rock Star Sammy Hagar. I mean, what an incredible journey you had.
Yeah, that was kind of what started it all for me. My husband and I went down to Mexico in 2003, and I had never even heard of Sammy Hagar before. And a lot of times when I tell people that, they kind of look at me like, how could that be? The age you are, you should know. But I didn't. I was a single mom when he was really at his height. Well, I shouldn't say height, but when he was playing with Van Halen. And so I was concentrating more on raising my son and learning the words to Raffi songs and those kind of things. But my husband and I went down to Mexico, and Sammy owns a bar down there called Cabo Wabo, and we happened to get into a show that he was performing down there that year, and we just loved the music so much. We just could not believe the way he interacted with the audience, and to see this caliber of talent in such at the time, Cabo was more of a quaint little fishing village. It's definitely grown up through the years, but to see this caliber of talent in this town where a lot of roads were still made of dirt and whatnot was quite a surprise and a delight. And so we loved the music so much that we went back again. He was performing that week every other night, I believe. And the second time we went back was when I had this out-of-body experience during his concert, and that's what ultimately began this journey for me and led me to the Monroe Institute as well, since they deal with out-of-body experiences and altered states of consciousness and that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's where it began, and I wasn't sure at the time what happened to me. I thought maybe I had imagined the whole thing. But you see, here we go with the imagination again. But I thought I imagined it, or I thought I was losing my mind, or I thought maybe I shouldn't have had that second margarita. or geez, I wonder if somebody slipped something into my drink when I wasn't looking, because it was just so profound and so real that it just completely changed my life. And so that's what the book is about, is how it changed my life, how it began, how it changed my life, and how I worked to discover what happened to me and why.
Wow. I know.
So,
I mean, I'm kind of jealous. You had an out-of-body experience at a rock concert.
Well, I think I've been asked a lot by a lot of people. So if I go down to Mexico and watch Sammy's show and drink 2 drinks in 4 hours like you did or whatever, if I do everything the same way, am I going to have an out-of-body experience too? I can't say it's impossible, but it's probably not likely. The situation, I believe, was just right for me to bring me into my awareness, to start me on this journey that's just led me to such incredible people, such as yourself and Mike Dooley and all the people I've met at the Monroe Institute and Infinite Possibilities, and famous people, musicians and sound people and road crew people and fans, and just absolutely incredible people. I was just, as Sammy says, she was just a effing housewife, had nothing going on. And okay, well, I had 3 kids, and I really had a lot going on, but it was not really anything about me at the time, but but it completely turned my world upside down and inside out, and just led me to where I am now.
Oh, it's just an amazing journey. I mean, you would have never, who would have known 20 years ago that all this was going to happen? I mean, this is just the way, it's a divine plan. It's like everything, I think our souls decide what we want to go through down here, and what a cool way for you to decide to, to have an out-of-body experience, like through a rock concert. That's really cool. That's creative.
I'll say it almost sounded so crazy that it was like, wow, I really better start writing this stuff down, because it was happening to me, and I thought, wow, this stuff is kind of unbelievable. Things were happening to me that I couldn't even have imagined ahead of time. Immediately after I had that experience, immediately I was changed from that very second. But as the days and the months and the weeks wore on, I started to develop psychic abilities that I never knew I had, and things were happening to me that I just didn't know how to grasp or define or deal with. And although they were all really, really positive things, I was also kind of scared because I didn't have any reference point, and I didn't know anybody personally at the time that had ever had an experience like that. But, I think anybody can have an experience like that, but it's going to happen to you in the way that will speak to you in a personal way. Like Infinite Possibilities even teaches that, when you do the things you love, when you go for your dreams, that's when you reach these goals. That's when you can be the most effective to others as well, because you might be being accused of being selfish or whatever, but when you do the things you love, that's when things really can turn around for you. Just like Martin Luther King and Mother Teresa and all of these wonderful people that have done, they followed their dream of what they wanted to do and ended up helping a lot of people for being selfish. So on that note, if you would say, okay, well, I was selfish in the fact that I was doing what I loved. I was at a live rock concert, which is one of my very favorite things to do, and just having a really good time. And so I was relaxed. I was enjoying myself. I was, if you want to say, being selfish. But with any of this stuff, there really is no such thing as selfish in that way, because the universe has plenty for everybody. There's enough for everybody. It doesn't mean that if my dream comes true, someone else is going to have to go without, or someone else's dream can't come true because mine did. So
yeah.
I think that's a really important aspect of what happened to me. So yeah, whatever it is you love to do, that's the kind of thing you should be doing. And when you're leaving yourself, when you're in that space, you're in this joy, in this love, and that's when great things can come to you, like it did to me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can definitely relate to that, because in the past, when I was a kid, I used to write songs and everything. I mean, I still write songs and sing them, but in the past, I used to say, well, there's so many singers out there, what's the point? Who's going to listen to my stuff? But
right.
Really, you have to say, well, there's a whole world of possibilities out there. There's billions of people out in the world. Somebody's got to listen to it, and it's going from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance. That was
right.
turnaround for me.
Well, and
changing my
yeah. And if you look at it as, because I know exactly what you're saying. I had the same mindset when I went into all this too. It's like, well, why should I write my book? There's all these other books out there that are similar, or why should I try to go out and teach infinite possibilities to people, because there's a lot of people out there that are teaching it as well. But the thing is that you are unique, and you have your own unique talents and your gifts that when you go out there and you present it, there's not going to be somebody else out there who's going to present it in the exact same way as you are. No one is going to write your songs and sing them exactly like Susan is, right? You're unique, and because you're unique and you have these talents, you are going to draw a certain type of people to you, the people who need to hear what your gift is. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, every one of us has to realize that we're all, we all come from the divine spark. We are a part of God, and we are doing our own interpretation of what God wants us to do.
Exactly.
So it's, once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, all right, now I get it. I was like, tweak.
I think most of us have to be hit over the head a few times.
Yeah.
I know I do anyway.
Yeah. So I am stubborn, but once I learn something, it sticks with me. So
right.
It's good.
Well, and we're stubborn, I think, and that goes along with our beliefs and our limiting beliefs as well, because if you think about it, we're always looking to reinforce what it is we believe in, right? Because you're not going to, how likely are you going to be able to talk someone out of changing their religion or changing their political stance? Probably not very likely.
Yeah.
And
well,
people
exactly.
who have and people who have similar beliefs, those are the people that we tend to hang around with, people that feel the same way as we do about things. So sometimes when we make these big changes in ourselves, people who were part of our lives before maybe might drop off because they're no longer on the same path with us, but we're also then at the same time attracting new people into our lives and new situations in our lives, that are conducive to our goal and our path that we're on now. So it balances itself out.
Oh, yeah, it sure does. It sure does. Yeah, I have it next up on my playlist here. I got Dreams by Van Halen. My husband David, ever since Sammy joined Van Halen, he called them Van Hagar.
Right? A lot of people do.
Yeah. So, it's, I figure I'll play Dreams next, because this is a song that actually propelled you into that out-of-body experience.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's the song that Sammy was singing when I had my out-of-body experience, and I had never in my life heard that song before. And the words that he was singing at the time became like tangible objects. I could actually see the words that he was singing coming out of his mouth. They were light blue and trimmed in this this shimmering silver. And that's when I really started thinking somebody put something into my drink, because things like that don't happen. But as the words,
no.
Pardon me?
I was joking. I said roofies. No.
Yeah, I know. I really seriously wondered. But, he sings about going higher and higher. And as he was singing those lyrics, I was literally going higher and higher. I rose up out of my body, probably at that point maybe 5 to 6 was like 5 to 6 feet above my body, and I was looking down at myself rocking out in the crowd to all this music and all these people around me, and I thought, wait a minute, how can I be me up here and me down there at the same time? This doesn't make any sense. But I also saw, so the lyrics go, save all the tears you've cried, that's what dreams are made of, and dry your eyes, save all the tears you've cried. And my things from my past began to flash before my eyes, really, like almost like you hear people talk about near-death experiences. I started seeing images and scenes from my life. My first husband was severely abusive, and I saw and relived just seconds of him breaking my jaw and leaving me in a pool of blood on the floor. And the next minute I saw myself as a little girl on Christmas morning and coming into the living room and seeing the Christmas tree and all the presents beneath it. And so it was the good things and the bad things, and just like what Sammy was singing about, all of this flashed through my mind, and this was right before I actually lifted out of my body. But there came a point where I could no longer hear what was going on at the concert. Everything just, all my senses just kind of dropped away as I went literally higher and higher and through the building of the roof and into what I can only describe as another dimension of consciousness or something, because I was with God, and I can talk about that after the break if you want to, but it was incredible.
That's an amazing experience, and how lucky you were to experience that. It just, I had an out-of-body experience too, and I spiraled up. It was me and another person that was from my Reiki class, and it was, well, I'll tell you more about that after the break too. But I'm going to play Dreams by Van Halen in its entirety. I played a little snippet of it as the intro, and it really illustrates. I mean, just listen to the words. We'll climb higher and higher, straight up we'll fly. I mean, that's, I always think of you now ever since, I can never hear the song the same way. And I was like, wow, that must have been so awesome. And I'm going to play Dreams by Van Halen, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Grab that golden ring, just like Sammy says. So welcome back, Pat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So tell us more about what we were discussing before.
The out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, I found myself in another dimension, and there was a very overwhelming sense of love and joy that I felt, just ecstasy and bliss and just tremendous, tremendous joy. When I first felt myself leaving my body, I was kind of scared at first because I didn't know what was happening, but I immediately felt like there was some kind of a spirit or energy there telling me, don't worry, everything's fine, everything's okay, you're loved, you're accepted, it's all good. And I trusted it and allowed it to take me where it did. And the higher I went, the more I was infused with this joy, a joy that is really kind of hard to explain in words, because I talked about it in the book as being greater than when I had my children. I was so full of joy to have given birth to healthy babies that I didn't think there was any feeling in the world that could ever top that. But this did by far. It was the most incredible experience I've ever had. So I knew that I was in the presence of something divine, and my interpretation of it was that it was God, and God and I were kind of like made of clouds or smoke, and we kind of both flowed through each other and back and forth like a circle, circling back and forth through each other. And that's when I saw the earth and how I was connected to the earth and all of these beings on the earth and plants and animals. And it was almost like if you would take a camera and pull back where the scene that you're seeing becomes wider, and with a wider angle lens, and you start seeing more. And that's when I saw all of these other beings and landscapes and that were not Earth, that were obviously somewhere else. And I saw how all of those were connected to each other and to the Earth, and it was kind of like a wheel, like spokes on a wheel, in a way, where everything, or the layers of an onion, where one thing just keeps going out further and further, but it's all connected to the same onion. That's the best way I can describe it. And then I saw my purpose in life, and I saw my soul, and it was so amazing. I was filled with the knowledge at that moment that the only thing that matters is love. Love is the only thing that matters. And I had this experience for probably, I want to say it was probably maybe just seconds or a few minutes. It wasn't very long. And pretty soon I was back in my body in the concert again, and I was wondering, okay, what just happened to me? And I looked at the people next to me in the show, and I thought, surely somebody's going to pat me on the shoulder and say, hey, are you okay? As if I just passed out or something. But nobody did. Nobody noticed. They just kept rocking out. And I looked down at my hands in the darkness, and my hands seemed like they had glowing light coming from them. And I truly felt like I was still 10 feet above the ground. I was so full of this joy that it was like coming out my pores, like sunshine coming out my pores, and I just couldn't stop smiling. And my husband was across the room when this happened to me, wasn't right next to me. So when I met up with him after the show, because this was probably one of the last songs, I think, not the last, but one of the last songs that Sammy had performed that night. And when I met up with my husband after the show, I told him that something really weird just happened to me in there.
Wow.
And he thought I was, he said, no more tequila for you.
Yeah.
He said, we better get you outside. I think the heat's getting to you in here, because it was probably about 120 degrees in the room, I think. About 100, almost 100% humidity with all those hot, sweaty bodies, and I don't think the air conditioning was working. And but I started trying to describe to my husband what happened, and he looked at me really funny, and he said, wow, he said, something really is different about you. Something really did change in you. And, so that was where it all started.
Wow, what an amazing start to your spiritual journey. I mean, wow.
Yeah. Well, I've been a spiritual person all my life, and always believed that there was more to life than meets the eye. But, I wasn't finding the answers that I was looking for in my religion, and I started kind of looking over the fence at other religions and philosophies. I studied martial arts, and I learned a little bit about Zen and that kind of thing, and that really, really enriched me a lot. But I was always wishing I had somebody like in the kung fu TV shows where Grasshopper had his master to teach him all this stuff, and I never really had anybody like that. My Taekwondo master was pretty good at it. That's where I learned how to meditate, but that didn't come along until quite a few years later. Thank you.
Wow, it's just wonderful. All the teachers that just pop up in our lives, and certainly I feel that you're one of my teachers, because you have taught me, to allow and to just, that even though you've been through the abuse and everything, you can come out a better person, realizing your value, the value of who you are, and taking one step at a time, one day at a time. I think in your book you said, do one thing different, or I think you told me, do one thing different, a little bit different every day. And that's, I thought that's the best advice ever. When you have that self-realization that you are worth being loved, that you are worth having good things in your life, not just material things, but, peace of mind.
Right.
It's just, it's just an amazing journey, and all of us have our own stories to tell. And, it's just definitely, anybody out there that's been through or going through abuse right now, I feel they should read your book, because you pulled yourself out of a bad situation. And, it's not easy for a single mom.
No.
Normally, to get out of that, because there's a lot of fear of, like, how am I going to make it? How am I going to feed my kids and keep a roof over our head? But you did it.
Right.
You got there's so many. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I now, looking back on things, I realize that I attracted all of that into my life, the abuse and everything. I attracted all of that to me, and it was for a reason, to teach me what I learned from it. But I realize now that it was my limiting belief about myself that I wasn't good enough and I didn't deserve to be treated better that brought that situation to me in the first place. And now I realize that, by changing my beliefs about myself, I can change my future in the same way. So that's a really wonderful thing that I've learned from Infinite Possibilities. And when you said, I've been a teacher to you, but we all are teachers to each other. You have taught me as well. So it goes, it goes both ways. We all have, like you said, we all have different lessons and gifts, and we can all learn from each other. Just have to keep our minds open and really allow people to be who they are as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. And I think it's time for another musical break here. There's a really cool song called Reinvent Yourself by Chris Chickering, and he's all about positive music, to bring about positive change. So I'm going to play that next. There's a line in it, with your head up high and the past behind you, reinvent yourself. So without further ado, I'm going to play that song, and we'll be right back in 4 minutes, 38 seconds.
When you're all alone and crying in a doorway, and you haven't got a second chance to lose, and when you've tried it all and hit the wall and dying, and you're on your own with nothing left to choose. Reinvent yourself, it's time. Reinvent yourself and fly with your head up high and the answers to guide you. Reinvent yourself, you'll be turning it all around. When you're underground, beaten down, you're bleeding, and the claws of cold have cast your dreams aside. You can break the chains that cut your veins. It's easy to free yourself from whole new state of mind. Reinvent yourself, it's time. Reinvent yourself and fly with your head up high and the answers to guide you. Reinvent yourself, you'll be turning it all around. When it's inside, outside, inside, consultation, your dream master will show you what to do. He's your mirror, and truth telling is gonna tell you. Phoenix fly with a full moon pointing you. And reinvent yourself. It's time. Reinvent yourself and fly with your head up high and the past behind you. Reinvent yourself, you'll be turning it all around.
Welcome back, everybody, and especially you, Pat.
Thanks, Sue.
You're welcome. And once again, that was Reinvent Yourself by Chris Chickering, and his songs can be found on iTunes, and he's got a YouTube channel, too, and he's a very, very positive guy, and I love his music. Everything is just so positive. Helps you make that shift.
Yeah, I love that too, because Infinite Possibilities is a really great way to reinvent yourself. Like the song says, if you're having all these down times and bad things happening to you, you can reinvent yourself. But what I love about Infinite Possibilities is that it gives you the tools to do that, and because we don't always see what we need to do when we're in a situation like that. Sometimes it feels like there's no hope, and that's a really scary thing, thinking there's no hope or there's no way out, or like the song was saying, if you're laying in an alley or something, reinvent yourself. But sometimes it takes someone else to reach out to and show you, take your hand and show you, which is what my goal is with all of this. When I first wrote my book, and I would do a lot of book signings and radio interviews and talks and things about telling people about my book and my story, and I always felt like something was missing. I felt like I was up in front of people and I was telling them I had this great experience, and these are these things that happened to me, and they were so wonderful and amazing and incredible and brought me so much joy and changed my life. But I put myself in the place of people in the audience, and I thought, yeah, that's great. They're probably sitting there thinking, that's great for her, but what about me? And a lot of interviewers would ask me, what can our readers do, or excuse me, what can our listeners do to have experiences like you've had? And I would tell them, really important to meditate, get out in nature, do the things that bring you joy, do them more often. And those are all really great things, but they aren't like hands-on tools that I have now. So I without even knowing it, I put my intention out to the universe. Please give me some tools that I can give to other people, so that I'm not just talking at them, but actually giving them something that can benefit them right now in their lives. And that goes exactly right along with what Infinite Possibilities says. Thoughts become things. You put your intention out there, which is what I did, and then I became introduced to Mike Dooley's Notes from the Universe, and eventually Mike Dooley's programs, and it all gave me the tools and answered my dream that I had wanted as well. So, yeah. So I just wanted to add that along with the song. That was a wonderful song, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, because when I heard that song, I thought, wow, that sounds like Infinite Possibilities. It's all about reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
And digging really deep. I mean, other programs to scratch the surface of, going within, being spiritual and going within yourself to find out the answers, to unlock the things that have been blocking, you from all kinds of good things in life, And I really, I believe this is a great way, to start off this year and, any time of the year. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful program. And also, I just want to reiterate, if anybody wants to get in contact with Pat about this wonderful program, on Meetup.com, it's TMI of Northern Colorado, and it stands for the Monroe Institute. Not too much information, like I said before. So, TMI of Northern Colorado at Meetup.com. And also, you can get in touch with Pat at info@bajarockpat.net, I should say. That's the email. And also, check out Pat's really awesome page, a webpage at www.bajarockpat.net. There's, endorsements from Sammy Hagar. There's just wonderful writings by Pat, and you can always see where she's speaking next, or any events that come up, and just a wonderful site. I enjoy going on it, and I'm just really I'm so excited about tonight. I just couldn't wait for it, because I think this is something that everybody could use, and really dig, like I said earlier, really digs deep into your psyche. I mean, the subconscious mind, I mean, it's the gateway to, success or, or not so good things. You
Right.
just have to reprogram yourself to go in the right direction, Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say that the meetup group is for my Monroe Institute group that I lead. That's the second Tuesday of every month, and that's what the meetup group is. That is not the Infinite Possibilities. That's my meetings for the Monroe Institute, or TMI of Northern Colorado, where we work on, we meet and we do hemisync exercises, and then we discuss those. And if we have time, then we do another hemisync exercise. So if anybody's interested in doing that, you can definitely join the meetup group. Obviously, you would most likely need to be local for that. Kind of hard to join a meeting if you're out of state. But I do have people coming all the way from Denver area for the meeting, so that's really an honor. And we're just kind of getting started. So we have a really great group of people so far, and I'm going to be bringing in some guest speakers in the future for that, and lots of other surprises. We're going to be watching maybe some short videos to discuss, and all of it having to do with all of this kind of spiritual and different levels of consciousness type of thing. As for the Infinite Possibilities, I also do one-on-one sessions with people, I think I mentioned, and I really, really love that because I can hone in on each person's particular needs, whatever it may be. So I do that, and I'm getting ready to get up my next group session here in February, so that will be on my website at, as you said, at bajarockpat.net. So that information is on there, and also my contact information. So if anybody's interested in knowing more about that, they can contact me there. Also, I'm working in the near future to doing an online version on a webinar or something similar, to be teaching this as well. So stay tuned for that, and that will be listed on my web page as well. So.
Oh, that's awesome! Thank you for sharing, Pat.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime. We were talking about out-of-body experiences before. I wanted to share a little bit about mine. When I went to a Reiki class, this was back in 2008. I was, just about 2005, I was starting my spiritual journey, and about around 2008, I had been very ill. I had multiple sclerosis, prediabetes, hyperactive thyroid, and all that. And I was looking for a modality that would help me relieve some of these ailments, and it really helped me. I mean, to me, I think it actually saved my life. But the out-of-body experience that I had, I had met up. I mean, it turns out that the whole class that I was with, they were people from my past lives, and there was one person in particular I found was my psychic twin. But, if you know anything about twin flame soulmates,
Yeah.
And it was wild, and we happened to go out in February, and there was this big, beautiful moon. It was like the night when there was 5 different planets in alignment, and we walked outside, and then I looked at him, he looked at me. All of a sudden, I felt unconditional love, and my head turned left, and I started spiraling upwards, and I couldn't feel anything.
Wow.
And that was just so wild. And I just remember being, I mean, this is going to sound really far out, and people would be like, oh, yeah, she was taking roofies. But I swear I felt like I could touch the moon. It was just amazing. And my body was not the same. It wasn't even a body. It was just,
right.
It was purple and just, just this luminescent being. And the person that was with me looked all blue. And it was a luminous, like an luminescent being. And I was just like, oh, my God, is this really happening? Just like you were in your experience. Because we all asked the same thing. Is this really happening?
Right.
And I was like, oh, my God. But it was like the most beautiful, scary,
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And I remember as I was descending, I felt the gravity pull me down. And I can see the person that was with me materializing. And
wow.
He was like half invisible, half not.
Wow.
Descending. And I was just like, wow. I mean, does this stuff? Did I dream this? Did this really happen? A lot. It's just wild. And when you told me your story and how you spiraled up and everything, I was like, oh wow. That's further confirmation that this happens.
Right.
These type of things happen. So it's not that we're crazy or schizophrenic or anything, or on anything. It's, this is a part of us that, that was brought into light for us to really examine ourselves and our mortality, our spirituality, and really, I mean, if that doesn't put you on a spiritual path, I don't know what does.
Well, and I think it's really important for people to speak out, and more people are starting to speak out, because ever since I wrote my book, I have come in contact with many people who have had experiences like you and I have had, that for the same reason they don't say anything, because they're afraid that people are going to think they're crazy, and I totally thought that at first about myself, but I, like you just said, I think it's a part of us, and we're just starting to tap into that we're so much more than our physical bodies. And what I learned from the courses I've taken at the Monroe Institute in Virginia is that we do not end with death. Our physical body may pass away, but we do not end. We keep going, and I do not believe that. I now know that as far as experiencing it for myself during the programs there. So yeah, I think it's really empowering for people to speak out about this, and kind of like anything that's stuffed in the closet and not talked about can't be healed or can't grow or can't help anybody if things are not talked about. So I think we might be on the verge of a big spiritual awakening here as a world, because so many people are. I'm meeting so many people that are saying these types of things as well. So, yay! Kudos for you for speaking out too.
Yeah, it's like the first time I ever spoke about it on radio. So thanks for making me feel comfortable enough to bring this out into the forefront.
I'm glad you did.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean it's just been a wild ride. You know, it's been an amazing spiritual journey for myself. But I'll leave that for another night. But you know, we're talking about infinite possibilities, and there's a lot of them. And you know, there's another song that I'm going to play. It's "Magic" by Pilot, and there's a line in it that says, you know, it's magic. Never believe it's not so. And you know, it's funny. All of these old songs from the '70s. This song, "Magic" by Pilot. This was a group from Canada in the 1970s, early 1970s. I think 72 or 74. They came out with this song, and I was hooked on it because I've always felt like I was a very metaphysical, spiritual, you know, magic kind of person. And this actually cued me to believe that we affect our, you know, we have the power to affect our destinies. And, you know, that was the first little taste I got about, you know, thoughts become things, mind over matter. And, you know, it's amazing how many metaphysical songs there are out there. And this is one of them, a good classic. I'm going to play it. It's a rockin' tune. And we'll be right back. That's a rockin' song, even for now. I mean, I love it. Don't you, Pat?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it just it really set the mood because I thought about that. I thought about that song when I was talking about my experience, the out of body experience, and
Mhm.
how we keep questioning ourselves, did this really happen? And then the words of that song just popped in my head. Never believe it's not so. So I was just like, wow.
Yeah, the problem is that we're conditioned to believe from when we're little that, oh, you shouldn't be imagining things, or it's just your imagination, or kids have imaginary friends or whatever, and we're kind of conditioned that stuff isn't real. But I think we need to get more back to that childlike innocence and open-mindedness that children have. In Zen they call it beginner's mind, and that's where the magic starts.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It really is.
Mhm.
So I guess I wanted to share with everybody also something that I incorporate into my daily routine that's been helping me with the subconscious mind too. Is did you ever hear of the violet flame decrees?
No.
There's a saint called Saint Germain, and he is always depicted as a man wearing purple. He's supposed to be an alchemist that, he's the kind of person that would, take life's lemons and turn it into lemonade. It's all about that. It's all about, just like infinite possibilities, where it's alchemy. It's about changing your circumstances from negative to positive.
Mhm.
And I'm going to share an affirmation and a prayer with everybody, which I think would help. This is what I do every day. Well, when I first wake up, I thank God for this day. I keep a daily journal of all the things that I'm thankful for, either on paper or there's a website called gratitudelog.com, and a lot of famous people use it, like Tony Robbins. He's a dynamic speaker. There's also Paula Abdul. She uses that too. And, they realize the value of being having gratitude in their lives. When you have gratitude, you attract even more good stuff to yourself.
Exactly.
And, and just amazing, since, you really do start to see positive changes. And now there's a prayer that I say every day, and it's a short prayer, and it's a violet flame decree, and it says, "Almighty I Am Presence, enter now, occupy and take dominion over my superconscious and unconscious minds. O Holy Christ Self, enter now, occupy and take dominion over my conscious and subconscious minds." And then there's affirmations that actually they talk, actually mentions the 4 different compartments of our mind, which is superconscious, conscious, subconscious, and the Holy Christ Self. And I'm gonna share this with everybody too. It's short. It says, "In the name of my I Am Presence and the Holy Christ Self, I am perfect abundance in my superconscious mind. In the name of my I Am Presence and the Holy Christ Self, I am perfect abundance in my conscious mind. In the name of my I Am Presence and the Holy Christ Self, I am perfect abundance in my subconscious mind. In the name of my I Am Presence and the Holy Christ Self, I am perfect abundance in my conscious mind." And, basically when you say I am, it's acknowledging that you are a part of God. It's saying, God is, or I am. That's what was explained to me, when I went to classes. Basically, you're affirming that you are part of God and that that you are perfect abundance in all areas of life. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. Quick little snippet, of what I do every day. And
that's beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, and when you're saying I am in the present tense is a lot more powerful than saying I wish for, because if you're saying I want to be, or I wish for, or I want this, or I whatever, then you're implying that you don't already have it. And so that's what the universe is going to give you more of. But if you're using present tense like you're saying I am this, then you're implying that you already have it, so you're going to be getting more of that. That's a very powerful thing. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, it's so important to live in the now, right now. You know, I should have played that song "Right Now" by Van Halen.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good ones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I might just add that on. You know what? Just for the record, I'm going to add that song on to the end of this show. So, I'll definitely, I'll do that. Yeah. But the next song, let's see. Next song is "Song for a New Year" by the Brigadier, and I'm going to play that. You know, and then we'll have a few more minutes left, and to chat. And the Brigadier, he's Welsh, and he's just got, the Beach Boys were his inspiration for a lot of his songs. And he's got some of the most positive music out there, and I just absolutely love him. You know, he's just an awesome singer, and I love how positive his songs are. And, well, without further ado, I'm going to play "Song for a New Year," a song about starting all over again, which is what we're all doing. And, hopefully with infinite possibilities. Well, I should say definitely with infinite possibilities.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. We're starting a new year, and a new year is wide open for anything to happen. All we have to do is attract it to us and do what we can to bring those things to us. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to do that.
Yes.
So,
we are doing that.
We are doing that right now. I'm going to see if I can upload that real quick while this song's playing. So I'm going to play "Song for a New Year" by the Brigadier, and we'll be back within 3 minutes, 16 seconds.
Every year I write my resolutions, a little list of life revolution, a chance to stop and start all over again. The last 12 months have been stressful, with hardly a time to be restful, but the excuse we need for change can now begin. Goodbye to the old years. It won't be long before we're through here. This is my song for the new year, and everything that could be. Forget about love that is dying, with rising looks on the side. Either make it better or walk away forever.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. And that was the Brigadier. And his songs are on iTunes, SoundCloud, and he's just, another great positive songwriter, singer-songwriter, I should say. And I actually got to upload right now by Van Halen, or my husband calls him Van Hagar. So I figure we'll, once again, I just want to mention how you can get in touch with Pat again. Pat's email is info@bajarockpat.net, and Baja is spelled B-A-J-A, www.bajarockpat.com. You can see all of Pat's upcoming interviews and information about her book, which I want to bring up again. It's a Colorado Independent Publishers Award. It won the Colorado Independent Publishers Association EVVY Award. That's how good it is, and it even sold out, I believe, on Amazon already once before. And it's Dance of the Electric Hummingbird, an ordinary journey to enlightenment, the supernatural, and Rock Star Sammy Hagar. Oh, what an awesome book. She really, she walks the walk and she talks the talk. It's all about going from abuse to abundance and finding herself, her spirituality, and really awesome through an out-of-body experience in Cabo watching Sammy Hagar play. So, I mean, how cool is that? It's really awesome, and Pat's awesome too. You're awesome, Pat.
Oh, thank you. So are you.
Thank you. Well,
I feel very blessed and honored and fortunate to know you, Sue.
Thank you, and I feel the same about you. You're a big blessing in my life. Your friendship and the love you send to me and support. You're just amazing, and I think our lives are meant to intersect, and work together to bring, much more love and understanding, spirituality into this world. So, I'm thankful.
I agree.
So, I guess it's getting to be that time where the show's going to end. We're going to play right now by Van Halen. I almost said Van Hagar. Did I say Van Hagar? No, Van Halen.
You almost did.
Yeah.
Well, I would, if I could just add something, I would just like to ask people to ask, what is it you want from your life? And ask yourself, what am I waiting for? So start by loving yourself and appreciating who you are and what you have, because you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now in your life. That's why you're asking the questions that you're asking. And, it's only getting better from here. So take control of your life and realize that you're powerful and you are amazing. You are important. And by the way, you rock.
Yes, absolutely you do. No matter where you are in your current situation, what happened in the past does not define you. What you do with your life from here, right now, is going to define the rest of your life. And thank you, Pat, once again. I love you, and thank you for bringing love and healing to everybody out there listening.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
You're welcome anytime. And remember, right here, right now is all that counts. Time to change your life for infinite possibilities, especially this year. So, without further ado, I guess I will bid everybody good night. But before we go, I'm going to play right now by Van Halen. So have a good night, Pat.
You too, dear. Thanks again for everything.
You're welcome. Love you.
Love you too. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you for listening, everybody.